Okay, this Clark Kent lookalike is a weirdo, but he is definitely TV gold. Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Love is Blind, Season 6, Episode 1, Higher Love. So I am not going to talk about every cast member. I'm only going to talk about the ones that were highlights for me. So first we have Jessica. Jessica, first of all, everyone on this show is beautiful. Like drop dead gorgeous on both sides, the women and the men. And Jessica, she has a 10-year-old daughter. That child don't even look like she has had any children. But she gets emotional talking about her daughter and how she doesn't know when she's going to necessarily break it to the guys that she has a child, but her daughter is her world. And her daughter is even excited that she is there trying to find love. Like her daughter is more eager than Jessica is, which I thought was cute. And Jessica seems to bond immediately with Jimmy, okay? And Jimmy, I want to say he's in software sales, if I'm not mistaken. He vibes with Jessica too. So while Jimmy is vibing with Jessica, she decides to tell him, look, I have a child. And it almost seems like the freaking like air just came out of him. Like he just didn't know how to respond to it. And he wanted more details about the daughter's father. Were they married? What type of connection do they currently have? And Jessica explains that she has known the baby's father her whole entire life. They ended up, of course, having freaky tales, had a baby at a very young age, 17, 18 years old. They are no longer together. They are no longer intimate. But, he's very active in the daughter's life. But, they weren't married. It just happened. And, they have pretty much been able to co-parent successfully. And that's just what it is. So you could tell he's thinking. He's thinking about this because Jimmy, he's young too. I want to say he's 27, 28 years old. And around that age, you want everything to be perfect. So he's like kind of thinking like that's a lot to take in. And I have to understand that if I want Jessica, her daughter comes with her. It is a package deal. So he definitely said, thank you for letting me know. But you can tell he's kind of disappointed, in my opinion. He's not fully invested like he was before. However, he also is interested in a girl named Chelsea. And Chelsea is a flight attendant. She was actually married before. She doesn't mention she has any children, but she was married before to her high school sweetheart, and they were married for 5 years. So he first speaks to Jessica, finds out about the baby. On the same day during the dating scene, he finds out from Chelsea that she was married before. And at this point, he's really devastated. He doesn't know how to process that both of the girls that he really liked in his mind have a past. Again, he's young. To me, it's not that much of a big deal, but when I was in my 20s, I probably would look at things differently because, of course, we have different expectations in our 20s versus our 30s versus our 40s, 50s, so on and so forth. So at that point, he's really like, thank you for letting me know, but I just don't know how to process this. I already heard something that kind of took my breath away earlier, and now you're telling me this. And he was really just trying to process it, but Chelsea clearly took it as maybe a diss, or he wasn't supportive, or he, you know, didn't want her anymore. So she begins to cry, and he's like, no, that's not what I'm thinking. Like, I just need to process this. But she is boohooing, crying. She does not like the feeling of how he responded to her being married before. So right now, for me, I like Jimmy and Jessica together. That's what I like as of right now. Now, I know a lot of people have catched up on this season, and there's a lot of rumors probably out there about the couples. I'm going to take it episode by episode. But as of right now, Jimmy and Jessica, to me, are a better match, in my opinion. Chelsea, I think, would be a good match with Trevor, who's the account manager with a mullet, and he is like buff, like WWE type of buff. They seem to have a better connection. When Chelsea tells Trevor that she used to be married, he's okay with it. He was like, people want that prince and princess lifestyle. We all understand that we're not perfect. We come with a past. I definitely think Trevor is up Chelsea's alley. I definitely see them connecting a little bit better versus Chelsea and Jimmy. So then we have Matthew. We have Matthew, and oh my gosh, that guy is so socially awkward, but he's so entertaining. I mean, he had these questions, 15 questions, and he would come in immediately like he had a job that he had to complete in every room. So he would literally go in and say, I have 15 questions, just pick a number. And I think Jessica was the first person he interacted with, and I think she said number 10 or something like that. So he asked the question, she answers, but then she says, well, what about you? Because she wants him to answer the question. And he's like, I was just giving you the question. And Jessica's like, are you serious? And then the next thing you know, he gets up and he leaves the damn room. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with him? And it's not like he gets up and leaves the room for Jessica. He does the same thing with another girl who answered his question and she's talking. He gets up and leaves the room. And I was like, what is wrong with this guy? But I can't lie. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, oh, this is entertaining. Who literally comes to a dating show trying to get to know people, but they're so socially awkward in the middle of the conversation, they decide to get up and leave the date. Oh my gosh, he's hilarious. But we find out he's just not good with the dating and opening up and showing his emotions and being vulnerable. And he's a country boy, he's an introvert, and he came from a town, I guess, that only had a population of 600 people. And so maybe because of that, that's why he lacks personality and social skills. But he was like, I don't know anything about this. I don't know how to process this. And so he ends up talking to AD. Her name is Amber. Amber, I believe Desiree. AD. I really like AD. So far, she is my favorite girl. She is a beautiful Black woman. Nice smile. Like, she definitely seems like she has a great personality, great energy, great spirit. And for whatever reason, when AD and Matthew get into the room together, Matthew talks more and he doesn't leave the room. And I was like, this could be a good match. Because honestly, when you look at Matthew and you look at AD, like, they definitely would look like a great couple. And at the same time, she was able to open him up a little bit. So I was like, okay. Now we find out later on that AD has never dated a white man before, but she is open to it because, of course, she's looking for love, regardless on what it looks like. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about, AD. So, at that point, Matthew's like, well, I hope I can win you over and we have another date. Then AD actually sits down with Clay, who is an attractive brother. But seeing him, I could tell that he definitely seemed like he was a little too into his looks. He kind of gave me that vibe from the beginning, where I was like, okay, he definitely seems like he could be very superficial. But great personality. He was joking with AD from the beginning. He liked AD's vibe, and AD seemed to like his vibe. However, I still felt like it seemed more genuine and not as forced when it came to AD and Matthew. And I like the fact that Matthew did open up with AD. But while AD is talking to Clay and having their dates, he decides to say, look, at the end of the day, I have to be attracted to my woman. And of course, they can't talk about what they look like on the show. He was like, I have to be attracted. And she's like, well, what do you mean by attracted? Like, are you open to different types of looks or attraction? Like, what are you trying to look for? What are you looking for without actually us describing what we look like? And so he's like, look, petite lips, big butt, and a smile. And regardless of the emotional connection, I still need to be physically attracted to her. Pretty much, damn the emotional connection. She needs to look good. And this turns AD off, and I don't blame her, because she's like, look, that's not what I'm here for. I am here to find love and to truly get that emotional connection, that lifetime connection. And she's like, look, I'm not mad, but if this is not what you really want, like, in other words, let's stop wasting each other's time now if this is going to be a problem. AD and Clay would also look like a cute couple also. Now, personality-wise, I don't know. I don't know. Based on what we are seeing so far, what I am seeing so far, she seems to be more humble and genuinely interested in the right things, and he is not. But he does show some vulnerable sides about how he just hasn't been able to find that perfect woman, and maybe it's because of him, because he's not emotionally invested, or he's not showing that he's emotionally invested, which already is a bad sign in my opinion, because AD seems to want a man who is invested in her emotionally. Like, she wants that emotional connection with the guy. So with that, this is where it really gets interesting. AD and Matthew meet up again. Okay. And the next thing you know, Matthew comes in strong. And I'm thinking he's coming in strong because he's so socially awkward. The fact that AD was able to open him up the first try, he's like at this point head over heels with her. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. So during their second date, he's like saying all the right things. AD, I feel protected with you. I want to protect you. I feel connected. I'm either with you or I'm not. I want to speak to your dad because I feel like it's appropriate to ask your dad for your hand in marriage. I feel like I'm only here for you. You're my greatest accomplishment, finding you. I mean, he is laying it on thick, and AD is blushing. She can barely speak. You could tell she is really loving the fact that Matthew is really feeling her for all the right reasons, so she thinks. And she's like, oh my gosh, Matthew, like, are you serious? Like, oh wow. So she's truly thinking that maybe she's finding the right one. But she does ask him, she does say, are you against, or how do you feel about people of different ethnic backgrounds, or whatever the case may be? Like, do you have a certain criteria, so to speak, of what you want as far as race, ethnic background? She kind of implies that pretty much, when you see me, are you going to have an issue that I'm a black woman? Because based on her bio, not only is she black, but she says she is a strong, proud black woman. So she's not about to switch up, so to speak, to be comfortable with the guy. And Matthew claims he doesn't have a problem with it. So that makes her even more be like, oh, maybe I found the one. Until she goes to the women's headquarters or their home where they go and they start talking to the other ladies. And AD speaks to Amber and she says, hey, Amber, who was your date today or how was your date today? Amber says, oh, I had a date with Matthew. And pretty much it was the same script. What he told Amber, he told AD. Amber was like, yeah, he asked about me, meeting my dad and, saying that he's ready to leave here and we can leave together. And AD is trying to keep a straight face, but you can tell in her eyes that her heart was breaking at that very moment. And she literally was looking like, this mofo played me. And I don't know if he is playing these women because he truly is a player, or he's so socially awkward, he has to literally write down things that he's going to say, hoping that a woman will like him. Either way, he is giving weirdo vibes, but damn, it's good television. I hope Matthew stays on for quite some time, because when I tell you he had me laughing, he had me laughing so hard when he was walking out on these dates. I was like, this is quite interesting. He definitely has a story to tell, but he broke my girl AD's heart. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next episode. What do you think so far about Love is Blind? Try not to give any spoiler alerts because, like I said, I'm taking it one episode at a time. But with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.